For today, what we want to look at is we want to look at this A.2.a, identify and sketch the general forms of linear, y equals x, and quadratic, y equals x squared parent functions. And we've studied those quite a bit lately. Let's look at problem 1. It wants us to solve each problem, choose the best answer for each question, and record your answer on the student answer sheet. Figures are not drawn to scale. Which is the best representation of the function y equals x? So in our calculator, we could go and we could press in an x, y equals x, and hit graph. It would show us what the best one looks like. Now the first one is a line, which we expect because this is the linear parent function. This one is a line. This one is a parabola. This one is a cubic. But this is the one that matches. This is the one that looks like our parent function that we drew in our calculator. So we would pick answer choice D. Let's look at the next question. The graph of the function shown is a transformation of what type of parent function? Remember, we just talked about a linear parent function was the one that went like this for y equals x. Absolute value, if you've watched your videos like you're supposed to, looks something like this. Quadratic is what this one is kind of looking like. The parent function for a quadratic is a U shape and it's facing up. Ours happens to be facing down, but this would still be its parent. And an exponential. I haven't shown you that one in the calculator, so I'll show you what that would look like. Say we took something, the number 3, and raised to an x. And we would get a graph. Notice it shoots up very, very quickly. So this would be an exponential function. So which one of these is the type of function that this one is? This one is a quadratic. It looks like this. So answer choice H. Number 3. Which equation is the parent function of the graph represented below? Once again, this is absolute value. This is the one that's going to look like the V shape. Y equals x. I'm guessing that's what this one is going to be because the parent function would look like this. This one's just shifted up or over. Y equals x squared is the one that is the quadratic or the U shape. And the square root. Once again, I haven't shown you that in the calculator, so let's see what that looks like. If I do square root, second and my x square button, square root of x, if I go and look at the graph, it takes off and just shoots up over to the side. Alright, so which one of these is the parent function? It would have to be answer choice B. For number 4, which graph is the parent function of the graph represented below? Absolute value, V shape. Y equals x, a line. Y equals x squared, a parabola. And square root of x starts and shoots off to the side. Which one looks most like our graph? The quadratic. Answer choice H. Number 5, which of the functions is not linear? So I start looking to see what all I've been given. This one is 5y plus 6 equals 8. There's no x in it. I think originally there was supposed to be, but there's not. This does give us a horizontal line if we solve for y. We'll come back to this one. This one looks like slope-intercept form, so I know that it's going to give me a line. And this one is very similar to point slope form, except for the y1 has been moved to the other side. So I know that this one's also going to give me a line. Now why is this one different? It gives me this 1 over x. Well, let's look. In our calculator, if we go to y equals, we type in 1 divided by x, and then a minus 3. You could also put that 1 minus x in parentheses if you wanted to. Go ahead and press graph. Notice that's one of those that gives us an indirect variation type of graph. Remember we looked at indirect variation earlier this year. So the one that is not linear would have to be answer choice B. We could put these in our calculator to make sure that they are lines. We also want to make sure that when we're working this problem we pay special attention to that word not. Number 6, which equation is the parent function of the graph shown? Once again, we know that's a line. So we look at our options. Y equals x squared is the parabola. Square root of x shoots off like this. That's not a line. Y equals x is a line. It's the one that runs like this. So that would be the parent function. And y equals 2x. This is also a line. It's actually a steeper line. It runs up something like this. But it's not the parent function. So they're trying to throw you off by having you pick a line. And it's not. So, I mean, this is a line, but it's not the parent function of a line. So we're going to choose answer choice H. And on problem 7, which graph is the best representation of the function y equals x squared? Well, this one is a horizontal line. We should recognize this as y equals some number. And in our case, if this is the x-axis, this is the line that's below it, so it should be a negative number. So probably something like -3. For this one, this is one of the cubic functions. This is the one where we have y equals x raised to the third. I probably haven't shown you that one in the calculator lately, so let's go and see what that looks like. X, remember I used my little caret button, raised to the third, and when I hit graph, there's the picture that's on my page. For C, this looks like a line, the parent function for a line. This one is y equals x. And then for D, this is the one that looks like a parabola, so it's the one that's y equals x squared. And which one were we looking for again? The one that looks like y equals x squared. So you could have, in your calculator, gone to y equals, typed in x squared, and then when you graphed it, seen what your picture should look like. Y equals x squared. That would be answer choice D.